My name is Gushan Hai, 23 years old this year, will soon be graduated at the age of the job has not been settled, favoring the girlfriend also broke up with me, really no money and no object, can be called a loser life. But I also do not understand, why no money girlfriend to break up with me, is love to be built on the basis of money. Karaoke box, I cried bitterly, drink a cup, but the girlfriend is never come back. You guys say, on what grounds, I'm just broke now, why can't you wait for me for 2 years? No one will wait for anyone, everyone has to manage their own life, you don't feel too bad. Lin Feng was beside me and patted my back. You guys play first, I'm going to the restroom. I nodded with your head and got up, ready to go out. I smoked a cigarette in the restroom and when I came back, I was still having a hard time in my heart. Who is this, who are you? Just pushed open the door, there was this voice in my ears. I wondered in my heart, isn't this the room of a bunch of our brothers, how could someone not recognize me? I looked up, but realized that I was in the wrong room. In front of me was a bunch of handsome men and women, some unclothed, some were dancing wildly. Seeing my blood boiling, I hurriedly merged my hands and said, sorry, I went to the wrong room. Wait, come over and play together. Just as I turned around and was about to exit, a woman called out to me, looking along with the voice. The woman was in her 30s or 40s, wearing a black sequined bustier gown. I subconsciously gulped and looked her in the eye and said, was that talking to me? Of course, just talking to you. You don't remember me? I'm Sister Qian Qian. The woman smiled, revealing 2 sweet dimples. This sentence hooked my memories back to a few years ago. At that time I was still in high school. Next door to me lived Sister Qian Qian. At that time she had long black hair, did not often make up, youthful and beautiful, like a small white flower, but because the body is too good, often harassed by some men. Once a thousand sister home, was followed by a man. I also took the brick thrown at the man's head, but this thing, thousand sister does not know. That was one of the few times I made a bold decision for a girl. Now that several years have passed since the incident, Sister Qian Qian's appearance hasn't changed too much, and her body has gotten better, it's just that her dressing style has become sexy, hot, and very different from before. Sister Qian Qian, it's you. I looked at Sister Qian Qian, a ripple inexplicably rose in my heart, evoking teenage feelings. She waved at me, signaling me to go over. I quickly understood the meaning and reached over. What are you doing, nasty? Sister Qian Qian lightly whacked me after sensing my bad taste. You're still as bad as ever. Sister, what are you guys doing, a friend's party? I gently asked in Sister Qian Qian's ear, but just as I got close to her, I already smelled a very refreshing scent. It was like gardenia and jasmine, drilling into my nose, making me very comfortable, so when I spoke, I couldn't help but intentionally blow on my breath, wanting to provoke her ripples. Sister Qian Qian turned her head to look at me imploringly and said, enjoy it first. In front, a man and a woman, who were already wearing very little, but the moment they stood up, they still took off their outer clothes, leaving only 2 threads of clothing, stood in the center and began to sing. The song was beautiful, but the writhing bodies were also really mesmerizing. The people sitting there kept cheering and clapping, and for a moment I almost thought that what I came to wasn't a karaoke, in contrast to when my brothers and I came, it was really conservative. Afterwards, Sister Qian Qian patted me, stood up and walked to the center. A pair of long legs stood there, has won over everyone. So beautiful, Qian Qian, go with me at night or not? A male shouted from below. I was a little uncomfortable in my heart. After all, Sister Qian Qian was the first sister I liked when I was a teenager, and now that I heard a man say that, I was naturally not happy about it. I didn't expect Sister Qian Qian to notice my expression, and at the end of the music, she walked straight to me, reached out and spread my thighs, and buried her whole body. Chi, what are you doing? It's just too much. Igu, Qian Qian has a story today. The people around me were in an uproar, and my face was so red that I really didn't know what to do. Shy? Sister Qian Qian stood up and resat beside me, asking softly. By now there were already others presenting the program in front of us. No one noticed us, and the 2 of us were in the corner, as if they were a man and woman cheating on each other. I said, not unhappy, but not like you. The man right in the center is the boss today. Anyone with a show is given 100,000. What, 100,000? I admit I almost dropped my jaw in shock. I looked at that man for a long time, and only then did I realize that there are people who can just casually crush me with the flick of a finger, so no wonder my girlfriend is breaking up with me. It makes sense. I can give you that too. How about 10,000 a night? Sister Qianqian's entire body collapsed into my arms and said softly. Regardless of whether there is no money, I looked at Qianqian's sister, has long been addicted. Where does it matter what sober restraint? No need to go to the hotel. I'll take you to a more exciting place. I took her and came to the stairway passage. There is a lot of echo here, not sure when someone will pass by. Nah. It's not good here. Qianqian's sister did want to play, but I didn't expect it to be here, pulling me to leave. I directly pressed her against the wall, reached out and touched her face, whispered, "That's it, that's what makes it exciting. Don't worry, there are no cameras." You're so bad." Qianqian's sister's voice is charming, seductive. I have long been unable to hold back, reached out and squeezed her buttocks, took off her underwear. Just when we were very oblivious and devoted, I seemed to hear a group of people chattering. "The elevator is so crowded, let's take the safe passage." Okay, hurry up and go this way." The door of the staircase was pushed open. One of the people and I looked at each other in a four-eyed manner, and they blushed in return, hurriedly grabbing each other's hands and running down the stairs, with their mouths constantly saying, "Excuse me, excuse me." When the person left, the sound of footsteps faded away. Sister Qianqian was in my arms, and because of her shyness, she kept slapping me. "You big bad guy, surely you've been seen, asshole, bastard." But it's exciting, isn't it? I couldn't help but tease as I looked at her shy appearance. Sister Qianqian didn't say anything and led me back to the room, but I had already been so distracted that I didn't care about the program or the entertainment. This feeling, as if it had made up for the pain of my lost love, how much I wanted to just immerse myself in my sister's embrace like this and never part. When it was almost dawn, the group of people in the private room only said that they wanted to go home. Naturally I followed Sister Qianqian to leave as well, but Qianqian needed to send that boss away, and when he was leaving, the boss glanced at me and whispered something in her ear. Afterwards, after sending that group of people away, Sister Qianqian only rejoined me. "Did you guys just talk about me?" I was a bit uncomfortable in my heart and opened my mouth to ask. "No, just asked if I'm going with you or not." Sister Qianqian replied in a cloudy manner and added, "What, you don't want to go with me?" "Of course I want to." I took Sister Qianqian's hand and waited for her to take me to the hotel. After arriving at the hotel, Qianqian's sister went to the bathroom to wash up. I have long been unable to hold down the hot fire in my heart, ready to push the door to go in, but just before pushing the door, I found that the door was locked. "Sister, how do you still lock the door?" "Go to bed and wait obediently." Seeing that there was no chance to go in, I could only go back to bed and wait again. Since the first time I met Qianqian's sister at home, in fact, I knew that perhaps I have a different kind of feeling for her, but the huge age gap let me not dare to get close. Later on, when I was in college, I also made other girlfriends, and there were also ambiguous times, but none of them were as fascinating as my sister's attraction to me. Only one night's worth of things. I have already walked out of the sadness of lost love, without any trace. Waiting for Qianqian's sister out of the bathroom, but I did not expect her to wear a normal bathrobe, and then took the phone, added my WeChat after the transfer of $10,000. Looking at the phone really arrived in the account of $10,000, I really do not know what I should say. "Sister. This money I cannot want, I want to return it back." "Take it, you are still in school, right? Where is the money?" Sister Qianqian put down her cell phone and lay on the bed, signaling me to hold her. I whispered, "Sister, are you married now?" "No, what's wrong?" "Nothing." Hearing that Sister Qianqian is not married yet, I was a little happy in my heart. Sister Qianqian fell asleep first because she was tired. When I woke up the next day, I was sleepy. Thousand Sister has already changed her clothes, lying beside me to appreciate my sleeping posture. "You woke up?" I nodded. I don't know how long, the cell phone at this time began to vibrate madly. I opened it and realized that it was my friend, who had long been calling me 800 times since last night. I hurriedly connected and said, "Hey, I drank too much last night, and opened a hotel and slept, what's wrong?" "You are really sick, said to go to a toilet, the result is that people did not come back all night. This afternoon the guide to check the class, you quickly come back, brothers have no smoke bribe, you hurry back." Listening to the phone they talk, I just realized that last night in the dormitory ran out, now it is already the afternoon, I hurriedly anxious to where clothes to go. Qianqian's sister besides some unhappy, directly into the phone said, "Buy cigarettes is it, I let him transfer money to you." Subsequently, Qianqian's sister hung up the phone and directly transferred $1,000 to my cell phone, "Transfer this to your friends, let them buy cigarettes, you don't go back. I want you to accompany me to buy clothes." I looked at the cell phone transfer, I was thinking of rushing back, but now, like this, still care about what class is not in class, directly collected the money, transferred to my friends, let them settle. "Then I'll accompany you shopping," said. I began to change clothes. After arriving at the mall, I found that Qianqian's sister shopping places are all big brands or handmade customized, just a small thing is a few thousand to tens of thousands, this is a circle that I usually can't contact at all. And because I can't say anything, I can only silently follow at the back and can't help but praise the good looks. Sister Qianqian thought that I was because I was unhappy and asked, "What's wrong with you, are you unhappy?" "No, nothing. It's just that I haven't been to any of these places before, I don't know how to make you happy." "That's okay, I'm happy when you're happy, baby." Sister Qianqian touched my face and asked again, "Where are you staying at night?" "Just stay in the dormitory." "Dormitory? I'll show you a house near my house, you can move over in a couple of days, so it's easier to see me." Qianqian thought, then picked up the phone ready to look at the house, but then thought of something like, said, "Right, not my neighborhood, just across the street from my home seems to be someone to rent, tonight you and I go home to see." I don't even know what facial expressions to make, I really didn't expect Sister Qianqian to spend so much money on me. So this is the benefit of following a rich woman. Later when I went shopping, Sister Qianqian also bought me clothes and shoes, all big brands, and when I swiped my credit card without blinking my eyes, I instantly felt that this was being maintained by a rich woman. But this feeling, really good. But occasionally I hold Qianqian's sister's hand, will also think of her that time the youthful appearance, a few years past, do not know what in the end she went through some of the things, but will become like this. After shopping, Qianqian's sister actually really took me back home, but also went to the opposite side to discuss the matter of renting a house, immediately finalized the matter of rent, a deposit of 3, directly to me to pay for 6 months. But because the landlord will only leave in 2 days, so I still need to live in the school for 2 days. Just returned to the school, they saw the nameplate on me, directly surrounded me and asked, "What's your situation, Second Spring? What the hell is going on today, directly dumping money and coming back to carry luggage, you're not going to find a rich woman." Almost. I faced my brother's skepticism and told them about today's events, each of their faces only had 2 words written on them, shocked. "What's so shocking about this, Qianqian's sister I like. And she doesn't need my money, why can't we be together, she's not married and I'm single, so it's pretty good, right?" I feel from the bottom of my heart that there is nothing wrong with this, after all, who is dead set on liking, that person will be shameless to say what can't be done without money. Now it's hard to meet a woman who doesn't lack money but only love, why shouldn't I? Brothers look at my face are a little confused, but Jiang Chuan patted me and said, "Think about it and then do it, after all, not everyone has this opportunity, just think clearly." "I know, I'll go find her in a couple days." During these days at school, I always wanted to be with Sister Qianqian, but she's been especially busy these days, sometimes her cell phone messages don't even come back to me, and I'm worried if she doesn't want me anymore. But the rent has been paid for me, what else could change? After a long time of this kind of anxiety, I finally couldn't help but call her over to question her, but it was a man who answered the phone. "Something wrong?" The man's voice was rough and clear. I almost froze the moment I heard the other person's voice, but in order not to disturb Sister Qianqian, I could only say, "No, I'm sorry, I have the wrong number." After the other party gave a he hung up directly. I didn't expect this to be the case. Didn't Sister Qian Qian say that she wasn't married, and who was that man? I pressed the questions in my heart, and didn't send a message to Sister Qian Qian for several days, until she called me, International Hotel 1402, come over. At that time I was on the way to class. After receiving the call hoofed it and took a taxi ready to go over, just arrived at the door at the hotel, pushed the door to go in, only to see thousand sister is smoking on the ground. Her makeup is not exquisite, seems to have just cried. Sis, what's wrong with you? Originally, I was a little unhappy in my heart for not contacting her in the past few days, but when I saw her like this, I couldn't say anything to blame her, and all that was left was heartache. You, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Qian Qian's sister hugged me with almost all her strength and started crying again. I didn't know what she was crying about. I could only hold her and let her vent her emotions. Don't say it if you don't want to, I'll accompany you. After that day, Qian Qian's sister brought me back home. It just so happened that I also stopped by and lived across the street from their house. The two of them spent several pleasant days, school classes I could put off, and nothing happened behind them. Almost let me fade away that day in the hotel. Qian Qian's sister look. Into the night, I changed my clothes and walked to Qian Qian's sister's home. Tonight Qian Qian's sister promised me that I could spend the night in her room. Naturally I was happy in my heart, and I even dressed up a bit. Why can't I live with you? In the house next door is so expensive. What does it matter if we live together? I actually thought about it for a long time, and Qian Qian's sister together for this period of time. I may be really for the money in the beginning, but I also really like her. I don't want an unclear relationship. Want us to be sure, just like this. Together. So I chose to ask this sentence at this sensitive time. I thought that Sister Qian Qian would understand my feelings, but she instantly fell silent. What's wrong, sister? Don't worry, I'm not that kind of irresponsible. I will be good to you. If you want to get married, let's go to the registration of marriage right now, and we can notarize the property. I don't want a penny from you. I will work hard. But you have to wait for me for 2 years. I might be able to support you too. Looking at the way Qian Qian's sister didn't say anything, I thought she thought I was lying, so she was eager to prove how pure my love was. If we could be together, I could do without the money. But Qian Qian's sister looked at me and was silent for a long time before saying, we are not suitable. What's inappropriate? I didn't expect Sister Qian Qian to say such words. This time we are together. What is inappropriate? I'm actually married, and all the money I have now is from my husband working outside, so even if I play outside however I want, there's no way I'm divorcing my husband. Sister Qian Qian looked at me and spoke solemnly, not like she was joking. She saw me frozen in surprise and turned around to get herself a piece of clothing and draped it over her body. The truth of the matter is this, if you don't think it's necessary, you can leave now. I wanted to say something, but Sister Qian Qian's cell phone rang at that very moment. Honey. Sister Qian Qian answered the phone this time without avoiding it. The voice of the man on the other end of the phone was very familiar. It was the one that answered my phone last time. Wife, open the door for me. I lost my keys in the car. I'm coming to see you for a while and then I'll leave, so I won't go down to get the keys. Got it, husband, I'll go open the door for you. After hanging up the phone with a flat surface, Sister Qian Qian hurriedly signaled me to hide in the closet. Helplessly, I could only do so. Thousand Sisters' closet is very large. I hide in it without any problem, and because it is the structure of the shutters, the light from outside can be music through, but I somehow became an adulterer. My heart is really a little uncomfortable. When she got married, why not tell me? While I was thinking nonsense, the man and Qian Qian's sister walked into the bedroom. I saw clearly. Qian Qian's sister facing this man's state, and facing my state is completely different, more flattering, more obviously moving, in the end which is really her. But I also think it is very ironic. Obviously I also took Qian Qian's sister's money, and why should I think about this? Probably after more than an hour, the two talents to end. After the end of the man hurriedly dressed, took a shower ready to go. I'm leaving, come back in a few days, today passing by, go home to see. Got it, husband, take care of your health at work. Okay, I'll leave first. After the man left, about a few minutes before I rushed out, looking at Sister Qian Qian. I was silent for a long time. She also looked at me and waved her hand and said, "My life is like this. Before I met you, I would often look for men to play with, only when I saw you, I somehow remembered some past events, that's why I decided to give you money and adopt you. It's not that I don't want to be with you, it's just that I chose a path that I can't regret." When she said this, in Qian Qian's sister's eyes, there seemed to be some tears, but I was already immune to tears this time, and just opened my mouth and responded, "Everyone has everyone's last resort, but it doesn't mean that you can play with other people's feelings just because of that. Maybe it's true that I was with you in the beginning because you didn't lack money, but now that I like you, I won't ask for your money either." Saying that, I took out my cell phone and sent her all the money since this period of time, for the rent money, negotiate with the landlord to return it, and when I get to my living expenses next month, I'll transfer the rent for these 2 months to you. "No, I don't mean this." Qian Qian's sister looked at the transfer and returned it directly. "Then in the end what does it mean? You have a husband, we can't be together." I looked at Qian Qian. In fact, my heart is also very difficult, but I know that I need to restrain. Compared to those unseen feelings, I still like to fall in love in a big way. It's not about money, as long as it's sincere. This is the path I've chosen, I will firmly walk on. Finished these things, I turned around and left, probably packed up things to move back to the school to live. Jiang Chuan and a few brothers also asked me in the end what happened, but I did not tell the truth. After all, things have been like this, and then say it is meaningless. Back to school, I fell behind in the course of all the remedial ones, began to plan my life, my future work, because I do not want, after I really become that for the sake of money, in order to spend other people's money and groveling that one. I hope that I have my own social value, and I hope that I have my own ability. After this incident, about 2 years later, I have become the company's right-hand man. The future is promising. My boss let me go to follow to accompany the customer, walk to the restaurant. I saw that familiar figure at a glance. It's Sister Qian Qian. Qian Qian's sister wearing a mink coat, intimate holding the hand of the person next to me. I know that the person next to me is Qian Qian's sister's husband. Before I hid in the closet when I clearly saw the face of that person. I just feel that the world is too small, it is a reincarnation, but I did not say anything, sat down and talked and laughed, and finally business was done.